I remember sitting in a high-end restaurant about 5 years ago with a friend of mine who, by all outward appearances, was a massive success. He had 30 employees, a beautiful office in the city, and his company was doing 7 figures in top-line revenue. He was the guy everyone in our circle looked up to. But halfway through the appetizers, he leaned in, his face pale, and whispered that he wasn't sure if he could make payroll on Friday. He was profitable on paper. His accountant told him he was having his best year yet, but his bank account was empty. That was the day I realized that profit is a vanity metric, but cash flow is reality. You can survive for years without being profitable, but you will die in a single day if you run out of cash. Most people start a business because they're good at a craft, but they fail because they don't understand the plumbing of the machine they've built. I've studied hundreds of companies that grew to tens of millions in revenue, only to vanish overnight, and it almost always comes down to 5 brutal rules of cash flow that most people ignore until it's too late. If you feel like you're constantly rich on your laptop but poor at the ATM, these 5 rules are going to change the way you see your business forever. The first rule is that profit is an opinion, but cash is a fact. This sounds like a clever line, but it is the fundamental law of business survival. When you look at your profit and loss statement at the end of the month and it says you made $20,000, that is a calculation based on accounting rules. It's an opinion of your performance. But if you look at your bank account and there's only $500 in there, that is the fact of your existence. I once saw a boutique marketing agency that signed a massive $50,000 contract. They celebrated, they hired 2 new designers, they bought new equipment, but the contract had net 60 payment terms, meaning they wouldn't see a dime for 2 months. They spent $30,000 in fact because they were excited about $50,000 in opinion. By month 2, they were bankrupt. The first habit of a world-class founder is to stop looking at the P&L statement and start obsessing over the cash flow statement. You need to know exactly when the money leaves and exactly when it arrives. If you confuse a signed contract with real money, you are building your house on sand. The second rule is that growth is a cash-eating monster. This is the hardest lesson for ambitious entrepreneurs to learn. We're taught that more sales equals more success, but in reality, growing too fast is one of the most common ways to kill a healthy company. Think about it. If you sell a physical product, you usually have to pay your suppliers today, but your customers might not pay you for 30 days. If you double your sales next month, you have to double your inventory spend today. You are essentially financing your own growth out of your own pocket. I knew a woman who ran a high-end organic skincare brand. She got a massive order from a national retailer. It was her dream come true. But to fulfill that order, she had to spend $200,000 on raw materials and packaging up front. The retailer wasn't going to pay her for 90 days after delivery. She was so successful that she literally outgrew her bank account and had to fold the company because she couldn't pay her rent while waiting for the check to arrive. Success can be a trap if you don't have the cash to bridge the gap between doing the work and getting the check. If you're watching this and you feel that tightness in your chest, that feeling that you're working harder than ever but you're still just one bad week away from a crisis, you need to pause and look at your systems. Most founders are so busy fighting fires that they never stop to fix the plumbing. If you want to start fixing your business today, you need to step back and audit how your time and money are actually moving. We've put together a free checklist that helps you do exactly that. It takes about 15 minutes to go through, and it's designed to help you reclaim 10+ hours a week by identifying the leaks in your operations. You can find the link in the description below. It's the first step towards building a business that gives you energy instead of just taking it. The third rule is about the inventory and AR trap. Your money loves to hide in places where you can't spend it. If you have $50,000 worth of stock sitting on a shelf or $50,000 in AR where clients owe you money, you might feel wealthy, but you are effectively giving your customers and suppliers an interest-free loan. I once worked with a custom furniture builder who was constantly stressed about money. When we looked at his books, we realized he had nearly $100,000 in unpaid invoices. He was too nice to follow up. He felt that asking for the money he had already earned was unprofessional or pushy. He was essentially acting as a bank for his wealthy clients while he struggled to pay his own electric bill. A true founder has the courage to be impolite about their money. They set clear terms, they collect deposits up front, and they never allow work to continue if a payment is late. Every dollar sitting in AR is a dollar that isn't working for you. It's a dollar that isn't hiring your next leader or improving your product. Collect your money like your life depends on it, because in business, it does. Rule number 4 is to beware of operational ego. This is the habit of spending money to look like the person you want to become rather than the person you actually are. We've all seen it: the fancy office, the expensive software subscriptions you don't use, the high-end branding packages before you even have a proven product. This is spending tomorrow's money on today's ego. I remember a tech founder who raised a small seed round and immediately spent half of it on a culture manager and a designer office space. He wanted to feel like he was running a real tech company. Within 6 months, the money was gone and the product wasn't even finished. He had the look of a founder, but none of the substance of a business. Cash flow is about survival, and survival is about being lean until it's time to be loud. The best CEOs I know are frugal with the overhead, but aggressive with the investments that actually drive ROI. They don't care about the fancy car in the driveway if the engine of the business is stalling. They protect their cash like a war chest because they know that in a recession or a market shift, the person with the most cash wins by default. The fifth and final rule is the tax and margin of safety rule. This is the one that sends most people to the hospital with stress. Most founders treat their bank account balance as their money, but if you have $100,000 in the bank, at least $30,000 of that belongs to the government, and another $20,000 probably belongs to your future self as a rainy day fund. When you spend the tax money on operating expenses, you are effectively stealing from your future self. I've seen countless businesses hit year 3 or year 4 only to get hit with a massive tax bill they didn't prepare for. It's a gut punch that many never recover from. The rule here is simple: 6 months of runway. You should never feel comfortable unless you have enough cash sitting in a boring, separate savings account to keep the lights on for 6 months with zero revenue. This isn't just about safety, it's about psychology. When you have 6 months of cash, you don't make desperate decisions. You don't take on nightmare clients just to pay the bills. You don't settle for mediocre hires. Cash gives you the power to say no, and the power to say no is the ultimate competitive advantage in business. At the end of the day, cash flow isn't a math problem, it's a discipline problem. It's the discipline to look at the numbers even when they're scary. It's the discipline to say no to growth that you can't afford. It's the discipline to put your ego aside and build a machine that works, rather than a monument to yourself. Most people fail because they want the glamour of being a founder without the responsibility of being a steward of the capital. But if you can master these 5 rules, if you can respect the difference between profit and cash, manage your growth, reclaim your trapped money, kill your operational ego, and build a real margin of safety, you will be in the top 1% of business owners who don't just survive, but actually build. You didn't start your business to spend your life staring at a bank balance with a knot in your stomach. You started it for freedom. But freedom isn't the absence of rules, it's the result of the right systems. If you're ready for the complete self-running business system, the exact framework we use to build businesses that don't need the founder to breathe, we've created the best business course on the market for you. We show you exactly how we build businesses that run without us, from the cash flow plumbing to the leadership architecture. You can sign up 100% free, no credit card required, and get instant access to the full course intro right now. The link is in the description, and it's the very next video you see on your screen. It's time to stop being a slave to your cash flow and start being the architect of your future. I'll see you in the course.